Today we are going to turn these sweet potatoes that are split and not really good for us to consume, and we are going to turn these into something that I can use for dog food and put in the freezer for dog food batches in the future. First we're going to get them washed. Okay, here they are all washed, and now we're just going to get them peeled and get the bad parts cut off of them. The story behind these sweet potatoes are, these are the sweet potatoes that I grew this year in my garden. I harvested them about 2 months ago, and I set them out in the garage to cure with the rest of the sweet potatoes that were human grade. They didn't have any splits or bad spots or wormholes or anything like that. And I learned from you guys last year that the splits in these will actually just cure over for the most part. Now I did have some that the splits molded and I just fed those to the chickens, but for the most part sweet potatoes will just cure over, and then you just cut the bad spots off and you can use them for human consumption, but I choose to use them for dog consumption. So that is the story behind these. We did grow these here. I harvested them about 2 months ago, and now they're cured, and now we're processing them into something that I can use in the dog's food at a later date. Here they all are, peeled and all the bad spots cut off. This is what I have in my kitchen sink, that is all the bad stuff that came off of them. This will not go to waste. This will go to the chickens, and they will absolutely love it, especially now we're in the dead of winter and there's snow outside, so they're going to really enjoy these. Now I'm just going to dice these up and weigh these, and I make my dog food in 10-pound batches, and the vegetable part of that is 1.5 pounds. So I will put these in baggies to put in the freezer in 1.5 pound batches. Okay, so here's what I got. I got 2 batches of dog food, and yes, we home cook for our dogs. We home cook for our dogs, and we primarily try to do it as much as we can off of the farm. Now we have narrowed it down over the years of home cooking for our dogs. The best starch for them, minus vegetable starch, is brown rice. They do the best on brown rice. We've tried barley. Barley works okay. Oats works okay, but oats tends to get kind of cakey in the way that I crock pot my dog food. It's just the lazy man's way of doing it. So I don't really use oats very often. And of course white rice doesn't have as many nutrients in it as brown rice, and that's controversial. But we try to use as much meat off of our farm. Usually it's chicken. We did just get our beef back, so we will be using beef liver and beef heart. I just did a batch with beef tongue in it. So we do try to use as many parts of the animals that we harvest from our farm, and not only for our consumption, but also for animal consumption. So it is a really good way for us to waste less on our farm, and the way that we, like to live, growing as much of our food as we can. And my dogs do eat pretty much all vegetables. So there's only a very few that they won't eat, minus the Chihuahua. The Chihuahua is much more picky than the others, but for the most part my dogs will eat just about any garden food. I mean, okra, broccoli, cauliflower, spinach, kale, tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, potatoes, all of those things. So there is a little bit of an explanation on that, and exactly giving you some light, shedding some light into what we are doing today. So 2 batches of dog food, and this will be the vegetable portion of a 10-pound batch, and then a great big coffee can of the scraps for the chickens, and then I ended up with some extras. So we're gonna have a little snack time here, and they are so excited. They've been listening to me cut these up. Go over here and see if the Mercy, old lady. I had to cover my chair because I can't keep the senile old lady out of it. Huh. She did eat it this time. Oh, she's still working on it. Okay. Rumor's picking up all the pieces off the ground. Want your own piece? Are you done over there? You still have a piece? Okay, old lady.
Look at you eating your vegetables.
Okay, now that that's done, let's go take the chickens some treats. Hi, chickens. Oh, goodness. All right, let's give you guys some sweet potatoes, huh? Oh, boy. And I have some bread that went moldy here. We'll give to the other. Guys want some treats? Some bread. Those guys, bread, carbs. I feel you guys. I feel you. I love carbs just as much as the next guy, but send up a little prayer. That's air life. Hope whoever it is okay. I love carbs just as much as the next guy, but I try not to eat them. Hence the reason why they go bad in my cupboard and I get to feed them to my chickens. It's a little while later and I'm out in the garden and I want to uncover everything that I have covered up out here. I have some Brussels sprouts and some cabbage and kohlrabi, and I'm standing at my leeks. Listen to the birds. I love it. I love living out in the country where the birds just cackle and carry on all day. It's gonna be warmer than teens. These are all cold weather crops. And I've had them covered because we had weather in the teens, and then of course we just got 8 inches of snow about 4 days ago. Of course it's almost gone. We still have some, but we had a lot of snow and ice, so I had them covered, just gently covered, nothing super professional or complicated. Just had some crop cover over them. You can see some of the ones in the background there are covered up. This is the leeks right here, and I'm just gonna uncover them and let them enjoy some sunshine and the warmer weather, and then when we drop back down in the teens again, I'll cover them back up. So there are the leeks. They're looking a little bit sad from the frosts and stuff that we have had, but they are still kicking and still viable, so the sunshine will do them some good. For those of you who are wondering how the garlic did through the teen temperature that we had and the snow, you can see they're popping up through the snow. They don't mind at all. Here's our Brussels sprouts, and they were actually looking quite a bit more sad than this just the other day. So these are looking good. Get them uncovered. They're uncovered now. Little wee Brussels sprouts, aren't they precious? Real cute nubbins. These ones over here are a little bit bigger. And then for those of you who haven't seen it before, this is a kohlrabi bed, another kohlrabi bed, and 2 cabbage beds. I actually harvested 2 cabbages out of that bed just the other day. We had them in stir fry. And they all look, you know, they're droopy, but again, I think this sunshine will really do them some good. So, all right, there's our cabbages and our kohlrabis. Got a few nice ones in here, which is good because I actually just had a farm stand order for some kohlrabi, so that's a decent sized kohlrabi. I mean, that thing's 4 inches wide. They're not all that way. There's a few decent ones. There's this little guy here. He's about 3 inches wide. There's a 2.5 incher. There's another 3 incher. So it's another nice one. So that's good. They certainly aren't, don't look perfect. You know, it's not the beautiful standing up perfect fall garden, because it's not fall. It's the middle of January, and so I'm just very thankful that I'm still growing food and it doesn't have to look perfect. So let's go check on the carrots in the back of the barn, but I'm gonna take a shortcut through the barn because, well, there's still quite a bit of snow on the road, so I'm gonna cut through the barn. All right, this is the carrot bed. This is the horse's carrot bed that I planted just to be able to harvest carrots for them this winter and feed them to them. So let's get this uncovered. All right, there they are. And some of these are looking pretty yummy, pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty big carrot. That's a pretty big carrot. It's a decent sized carrot. That one looks like a big one. Yeah, that's a decent sized carrot. So that's exciting. And these are all fine. So they'll enjoy these next few days, 5 days, I think, of some sunshine and some warmer weather before I have to cover them back up to try to save them. And of course, I always say it, the fall winter garden is always a gamble. And it's, if you're not growing in a heated greenhouse, it's not guaranteed. And I'm just doing these things to help keep the frost off my plants. It's not changing the temperature really that much of the ground. It might be changing the temperature a few degrees of the ground, because when I do try to cover them the day before we're going to have a really cold snap, so that they all of that, the few degrees of extra heat that the plastic causes, you know, that it catches in there, you know, can kind of stay in there. So it might help for that first night. But I really don't think that it makes a huge difference as far as the ground temperature or the temperature, you know, the wind temperature for these plants. I think that the main thing that it does is it's just keeping the heavy frost and ice off of the plant. And for these cold weather crops, it is working so far, but we've got some single digits coming, and I don't think it's going to survive that, but I'm experimenting this winter and just kind of seeing what this does. I've never covered crops before in the wintertime. I've never tried this, and so I'm just kind of trying an easy, simple way and showing it to you guys and seeing what the results are. I'm not guaranteeing that I know the results at all. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and hoping and growing food through the winter. And so far it's been great. Like I said, we had stir fry just the other day out of the garden in January. So if that's what I get, then I'm a happy girl. All right, I'm gonna move on to get some more chores done. As you can see, compost pile needs pushed up. I'm gonna go see if I can get the tractor started and get that pushed up and get some things done. Hello, kittens. Oh, they're feeling feisty today. Yeah, Lily. What are you doing? Hunting sunshine, hunting spots of sunshine in the barn. All right, well, we're gonna get these horses out, I think, too, for some outside sunshine time. Just like that. That's all I'm gonna do today. We do need to rotate compost piles, but it is far too wet to do that. We want to do as little as possible in this wet ground. We don't want to tear up, you know, what good ground we have. And these are doing just, we don't need them right now in the garden. I have 2 piles in the garden that are 5 and 6 months old. So we don't need them in the garden right now. They're doing just fine here. And the way that my compost works is, this is the newest pile that we just pushed up. So this is what just came out of the barn. And then basically, give or take, it's not always exactly a month, but that should be a month old. That should be 2 months old. That should be 3 months old. And then we should have 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 month old piles in the garden. And this is just us turning our own compost that comes out of the stalls in the barn. It's called cold composting, and it's just a very nonchalant, kind of hands-off way of composting. You can get extremely technical with composting if you want to, and if people have the time to do that, I encourage you to go down that rabbit hole. It's a fascinating rabbit hole. I choose to spend my time on other things on my farm, and do cold composting, which takes a lot longer. But for me, I have an abundance of pucky, so I don't need to take a little bit of manure and turn it into, you know, the maximum amount of compost that I can get. I've got plenty of horse manure, so there's that. I'm gonna clean stalls. All right, stalls are clean. Let's go see if we can find some carrots out here to harvest, that are big enough to harvest for these kids. I don't really think that one looks big enough. Oh, look at that cutie. Not much to it. That's okay. That one looks big enough. There's 2. There's 3. That's a decent one. Ah. 4. These are supposed to be this way. They're short, stubby carrots. 5. There we go. Get these a good rinse, and then we'll get them in their buckets. All right. Put this back under the hydrant. That is just an extra layer of protection for your hydrants. If you struggle with your hydrants freezing up, doing that is just an extra layer of frost protectant. Let's drop one off for Maggie. One off for Velvet. The dogs are wondering where theirs are. One off for Josie. One off for Grace. And one off for Chance. Let's see what I got in the fridge here. We'll give the dogs some store-bought treats. You guys already got treats today. You got sweet potatoes today, but put some pears in here too. All right, there's one. Great. All right, now that snack time's over, I'm gonna bring the kids in. It's time to bring them in. Temperature's dropping quickly, and the light is getting not so great quickly, so let's get them in. Want to hear something funny? I don't know if you noticed in those previous clips, but I have one hand that doesn't have a glove and one hand that has a glove. I don't know where the other glove went. I have no idea. I know that it's out here somewhere. I know I took it off when I started doing waters in the barn and I was cleaning stalls. I can't find it. This is why I don't spend any more money than what these little knit gloves cost. There's two reasons. That, because I lose things and I break things and I ruin things. I put holes in these like crazy. But also because I don't like bulky things on my hands. I like to be able to feel what I'm working on. But yeah, this happens about once a week in the wintertime. I have no idea where that glove is. And it's red. It's not like it wouldn't stick out. I don't know where it's at. Okay, back to gardening. I got new gloves and my pruners. And I am going to, we're out here at the groom shop. And I've got my pots and hanging baskets that need to be cleaned up for wintertime. I've already got the first hanging basket and the first two pots done, and so I'm just gonna kind of keep working my way, but I've got 3 more baskets to do and 2 of the pots left to do. So I'm just gonna go to work on these and put everything in the wheelbarrow and take it to the chickens. Okay, that is much better. And all I gotta do now is just go get my blower to blow off the porch. And that's quite a load in the wheelbarrow we're gonna go take to the chickens. But that's how these pots will stay for the winter, and then we'll get them all planted for the spring. I heard that the creeping Jenny may stay all winter. It is a perennial. I don't know if it will be a perennial in containers, so we'll see. And it may also be that the creeping Jenny actually takes over these pots And I may have to harvest some creeping Jenny out of these to make other hanging baskets, which is fine. We'll just see. Well, that will give them something to do. Tomorrow morning when they wake up, they have all gone to bed. That is going to be it for today. Thanks for coming along with me again on the homestead. I hope you guys had a great day. I'll catch you on the next one. Yours truly.